friend at your work makes a reminding of you of your colleague's name. Thank you. With Arya bowing out, we are going up to the gate because the Hound has a score to settle with its literally undead brother. It's time for Clegane Bowl, knocking Hybrid out of his way with a Darth Vader-esque Crusher Skull on a rock move. The Mountain is ready. Cersei takes this as her cue with a polite, "Excuse me, I've just realized I need to pop behind you there. Don't mind." She's getting out of there. It's the Hound versus the Mountain, brother versus brother, grudging hero against, wait, what's this? The Mountain has taken off his helmet, and like he's pulled off an old Band-Aid, except in this case, the Band-Aid was covering 3 senses of an undead Darth Vader face, and he's going to need more than an over-the-counter antiseptic to fix things like that. Damn. The Hound realizes things are a bit off, too, because his brother won't die. The Hound says literally, "Just fucking die." That was my good Hound impersonation. There's nothing left for it. With one last bitter embrace, the Hound spear tackles the Mountain off a crumbling tower, and they fall to their fiery deaths. With all her allies dead, Cersei has been wandering through her ruined castle looking like a confused Travolta meme. But finally, Jaime is here. The siblings are reunited, and Jaime, who has actually been listening to a lot of Metallica up north, reminds Cersei that they only need each other and nothing else matters. As they cradle each other, the castle begins to fall down on them, and they are dead together. Jaime dying in the arms of the women he loved, just like he told Bronn he would, and again returns to nature. Returns to nature and away from Brienne, to the women he came to this world with, spent most of his life with, and ended up loving. Very sad at the end. We all hated it, but realities are realities. All right. Yeah. Just that simple. All right. That is just about it now for episode 5. We're going to turn to episode 6. What questions that they have to answer. There's so many theories about why Dany snapped and scorched King's Landing. People in Westeros may say it's because of Targaryen predisposition towards mental illness, although most reported earlier other examples had explanations. The showrunners claim the havoc wreaking was a spur-of-the-moment decision. Again, we need a better explanation for this if the show's to continue to make logical sense, because there's been so much evidence throughout the show to point towards both ways. We need a conclusive explanation about why she tried to literally go all crazy on us with this, but Dany actually telegraphed it in words and actions long before, or maybe this is what the writers say, or maybe it was because of Varys' poison at a time to take effect. After all, it's possible basilisk blood in the books may be easily hidden in cooked meat or produces violent madness. It could somehow be connected to our ineffable magic bond with Drogon. There's so many theories about this. Whatever the case, Dany needs to provide us with an explanation in her words, not just unhinged facial expressions. Can she explain why the city's surrender wasn't enough to stay her hand? Does she realize that the picture will now be positioned in the Westerosi dictionary next to the word overkill? Is she gone too far to care? Someone, Tyrion, Jon, Grey Worm, needs to talk to her about this. Is someone going to oppose her? Please, possibly. Could it happen? Is Dany going to die in this episode? That's definitely a very logical conclusion. Is Jon Snow going to kill her in this episode? Yeah. Before she bestowed the title of Storm's End Lord on Gendry, she said that she wondered aloud, who's Lord of Storm's End? But this, again, wasn't necessary honor. Too long her power vacuums had kept the various kingdoms in disarray. We didn't even know there was a new prince in Dorne until the last War Council meeting. So who's in control now of we don't know what? Sansa Stark rules Winterfell, in the absence of Jon Snow, the Warden of the North, making her the de facto leader of the North. Sansa's cousin, Robin Arryn, is not only the Lord of the Eyrie, but Defender of the Vale and Warden of the East, although Lord Royce has been the commander of Robin's forces and pretty much acting on behalf, because Robin is a little boy who is sick and pretty crazy. Theoretically, Sansa's uncle Edmure, as Lord Paramount of the Trident, could return the Riverlands to Tully control. His stats unclear, however. Is he still being held prisoner by House Frey, which is pretty much all dead now because of Arya? Legitimized Gendry Baratheon, now Lord of Storm's End, would rule the Stormlands, where the Reach would likely be the preserve of House Tarly. Sam's mother, Lady Melessa, might have been acting as Warden of the South after the deaths of Randall and Dickon. If Sam heads back to Horn Hill, could he ascend to lordship he has been denied? That would be pretty cool. And what about Tyrion Lannister? Might he not also still want to claim Casterlock as his birthright, and with it the title of Warden of the West? That'd be pretty cool as well. And Yara should probably have the Iron Islands under command now that Euron has been killed. But before Dany destroyed King's Landing, she should have been able to count most of these houses as allies, so the Tarleys. We don't know who Varys wrote to or how many of the Ravens he was actually able to send before his death, or if his little bird Martha knew to send them after. But if word spends of Dany's genocide and Jon Snow's lineage, many of Dany's alliances are probably going to crumble. Burning King's Landing, it's not something that's really going to inspire a lot of confidence. And the question is, would that make a difference? Yeah, so the question is, how did Varys do it? If he were smart, which he generally pretty much was, he would have been sending letters to the Citadel, the Iron Bank, the House of Black and White and Bravos, the Red Temple, any institution in Westeros or Essos with any any sort of influence or power. Because remember, power resides where people believe it resides. It's a key Varys idea. And there are effective ways to resist tyranny and dragons. If Daenerys is to be eliminated, an assassin might be required, someone she trusts, someone who can get past the fearsome Drogon. Arya went to assassin school in Bravos, where she picked up some very useful skills, but she hasn't utilized one of the most important ones in quite a while, which is to say, where are all her faces? That'd be interesting. Did she bring any with her from Winterfell? How is she expecting to get past Cersei, her original target? And if she decides to select a new target, does she have spare faces to help out? That's the question. Will Tyrion face one last trial? As twice in the series, Tyrion has been accused of crimes, murders, and attempted murders that he, in fact, did not commit. In attempting to defend himself against such charges, he usually resorted in trial by combat. But if Daenerys accuses him of treason for freeing his brother Jaime, her prisoner, Tyrion actually would be guilty. How will he talk himself out of that one? And the question, he probably will face trial. Like, that's not something that's going to make Daenerys happy. Remember, next time you fail me will be the last time. Will anyone possibly break the wheel here? Daenerys promised to destroy the metaphorical wheel of power in Westeros in order to create a better world, but she never said how she intended to do that. Somebody should have asked a journalist or something like that. If she were to be defeated, will Jon pursue his claim or abdicate the throne? Will the throne be destroyed? Hopefully Drogon will live long enough to melt it. What about the idea of a monarchy? What form of government could replace the best current one? How did Jon take some inspiration from his Night Watch days and possibly hold a democracy, some kind of vote with those triangle tokens, if you remember back in the Night's Watch election scene back in season 5? These are all possibilities. Will anyone suggest, as Tyrion did? Again, it's what I just said. Adopting democratic methods of the Night's Watch of the Iron Islands with the King's Mood. Will anyone dig back in Westerosi history and suggest a reestablishment of a great council? Or how about glancing at the political setup of Essos across the Mare Sea, or something maybe altogether new? Some kind of new setup for the future of Westeros? Because if we know anything, if Dany doesn't make it out of this, Jon will be king. It's probably going to be the next king, and he's probably not going to want to be king. So what do they do there? It's going to be interesting. Another question is, what do the common people think? For all the actors for action taken on behalf of the common people, it's rare that the commoners themselves are consulted, which leaves us to wonder, do they really know what's happened? Do they know who Daenerys is? Does the word get around that quickly? Did they consider Queen Cersei a tyrant? These are people who once rioted in the streets, ripped the High Septon limb from limb when they thought monarchy was failing them. How do the survivors of the sack of King's Landing feel? If there are any, feel about it now. We could probably guess the answer to that one. They're probably not big fans of Daenerys. Did Bran Stark know about the bloodbath in advance? He has had troubling visions since season 4, including Drogon, literally a shot that we saw in last episode, cruising over King's Landing in the Ashy Throne Room, which matched Daenerys' own vision back from season 2 in the House of the Undying. Both Bran and Daenerys saw glimpses of the future, but perhaps didn't recognize what they were seeing at the time. What turned out to be ash in those visions looked like snow originally, which could mean Jon Snow. Winterfell, or some sort of northern identity in some way. Unlike Daenerys, though, Bran has a chance to pursue and rewind. Did he watch more of the horror unfold? Did he recognize what Dany was going to do? And if so, why did he try and stop it? Was this an ethical dilemma for him? And finally, do prophecy and magic even matter? For what matter, what good is an ability to see the future in this world. Melisandre's visions when she backs Stannis also cause disasters. They nudge Arya to kill the Night King as well. Cersei's downfall can in part be attributed to her obsession with the Maggie the Frog fortuneering, which turned out to be mostly accurate. If Cersei had received Marjorie Tyrell to be the promised threat instead of Dany, perhaps she wouldn't have accumulated so many enemies. She would have been more friendly to Marjorie. Marjorie was a good person. I liked her. Daenerys, too, was obsessed with the witch's words, though she thought they meant she would never again have children. How did that perhaps shape her erroneous belief? How did that perhaps erroneous belief shape her path and enable her savior complex? The prince/princess who promised, the stallion who mounts the world. All these prophecies, they are real, or is it dangerous to believe in any such cryptic concepts? Real though they might actually turn out to be. Just try and live your life. It'll be interesting to get answers to those questions and more in the final season of Game of Thrones, which we will be recapping. We're going to recap the final episode for you. We'll try to get an episode in sometime next week, hopefully. But until then, enjoy the episode. This has been The List, Game of Thrones.